Good morning, first graders. Today hits off the first week of us using Seesaw to complete activities and sending it back to Miss Dominic for review. This week in particular, we are going to focus on characters, setting, and major events in a story. But today we're really going to focus on characters. So I'm going to first ask you guys, what is a character? So I'd like you to pause the video and turn and talk to an adult or someone in your family that you can share what a character is. All right, after coming back, I'm going to tell you what a character is. So a character can be a person, animal, or thing in a story. So I might read a book about a boy named Tom. So I drew a picture of Tom and I labeled him I labeled his name right next to his picture. A character might be an animal such as a cat, like Pete the cat. So I might draw Pete and label him Pete above. Or my character might be a robot. So I might draw a robot and then label it robot underneath. So once again, let's repeat it back. A character is a person, animal, or thing in a story. All right, so if we go back to a book that we've read before, such as Little Red Riding Hood, what kind of things can we look at to help us figure out who the character might be in the story? Well, looking at the cover page, could we use the illustrations or drawings in the story? Could we use the words or even the title of the story to maybe figure out who the story might be about? Yeah, so if we did that, we looked through the book, we would figure out who the characters might be because the illustrations and drawings are there as tools to help us figure it out. We can also listen for words in the story to figure out their names. So if I were to look at the cover page and it said Little Red Riding Hood, oh, I might figure out that this is Little Red Riding Hood, but who might this be? So we need to listen for words in the story to help us figure out who they might be by listening for their names. And once again, we can look at the drawings and illustrations. Now, when we do read a story, there are two kinds of characters. We have the main character who the story is mostly about, and we have the other characters that aren't in the story quite as much. So it's not who the story is mostly about. So for instance, if it's Little Red Riding Hood and she's on the cover, do you think we might see her all the way through the book? Yeah, we would. But what about when we read this story, we also came across Little Red's mom. Do we see her again? No. So is she a main character? She is not a main character. She would be another character. So she's not as an important piece in the story. What about Wolf? Do we see Wolf throughout the story? Yeah, so he might also be a main character. Then, towards the end, we see, is that Grandma? Yeah, we see Grandma and we see the man that helps save them. So they're not in the story until the very end. So we wouldn't make them a main character. They would be known as the other characters. But Little Red and Wolf, who are throughout the whole story, the beginning, middle, and end, are going to be main characters. So when we look at a book and we read a book, we want to think about the words we see and hear, and also the pictures or illustrations that we see to help us figure out who the main character is and who the other characters are. So this is going to be the book I read today. If we look at the cover, who might we see on it? Who do we think the book would be about? And the title is called The Dog Who Cried Wolf. So, I wonder who the main character will be. Now, if we went for a picture walk, we can start thinking about who do we see in the drawings or illustrations? And who do we see all the way through? Because if we don't see them all the way through, do You think they're a main character? Probably not. But if we do see that person, animal, or thing all the way through, are they going to be a main character? They probably will. So start thinking about what's going to happen in the story. And who do we see all the way through the story? You can pause the video and you can turn and talk to an adult or a family member to talk about who do you see in every page of the story. I also encourage you, once we are done with our picture walk, to pause and talk to an adult or family member about what do you think is going to happen in the story just by hearing the title, The Dog Who Cried Wolf, and by looking at the pictures or illustrations. All right. So now that we've gone through our picture walk and we looked at all of the pictures, drawings, illustrations, and we got thinking about who the main character might be and who the other characters might be, I'm going to read this story. And now it's really for us to look and listen for names of the characters. So, The Dog Who Cried Wolf. Mocha was a good dog. He and Michelle loved to be together. Life was perfect until one day she read a book about wolves. Look, Mocha, said Michelle, you're kind of like a wolf. Wow, thought Mocha, I am kind of like a wolf, but look how amazing wolves are. They run around free, hunt wild animals, and stay up late to howl at the moon. And look at the way I live, Mocha sighed. I'm nothing but a house pet. He felt like a failure, especially when Michelle made him dress up for her tea parties. He wanted to be a wolf. The next day, Mocha made up his mind. He snuck out of the house and took off for the mountains. He ran and ran and ran. I wonder where Mocha is going. Until finally he reached a high mountaintop. I'm free, he yelped, free as a wolf. He ran, he jumped, he danced, and he peed whenever he wanted. Wow, he exclaimed, the world is mine. I wonder how Mocha is feeling right now. Soon Mocha got hungry. No problem, he cried. I'll hunt for my food, just like the wolves do. And off he went. But a rabbit outran him. A skunk sprayed him. A beetle pinched him. And even a field mouse made fun of him. Looking at those drawings, how do we think Mocha feels? By nightfall, Mocha was miserable. He missed Michelle. I even miss her tea parties, he mumbled. But I can't give up yet. There's just one more thing I have to try. He gazed at the golden moon and howled as loudly as he could. Oh, just like a wolf. Suddenly, something howled back. "Hoo!" And then again. "Hoo!" Mocha froze. "Wolves!" he cried. "Real wolves!" He turned and raced down the mountain. "I want to go home," he panted. "I never want to be a wolf again." He ran and ran and ran until finally he reached the house he knew so well. "Mocha!" Michelle shouted as she dashed out to meet him. "You're back!" Mocha was home again, and he and Michelle were oh so happy. Life was just perfect until one day she read a book about monkeys. The end. All right, so now that we've read this book and we went through the pictures again, so the drawings and illustrations, we were able to see who we might think the main character was and the other characters. And we also listened for names. So if we need to, you guys can go back in the video and rewatch the story again. Pause on certain pages if you want to look at the illustrations a little bit more. And then we're going to head to the Seesaw activities page and complete the activity for the character or characters of the story. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Miss Dominic. And again, please come back to this video as it will help you to reference the book again. You guys have a great day.